So this one's going to be a bit more of a serious topic. Not sure how funny I'm going to end up being able to make it, but hopefully the trade-off should be getting some more useful knowledge or things to think over for what we trade off in just straight comedic value. So, going by whatever I eventually titled this, it's going to be talking about fear and feeling fear, and specifically a bit how women often feel fear while just trying to exist in society. But to start off that big, heavy, not super happy topic, gonna hop to a story, a little more of a fun story. So about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I went on a lovely vacation to Japan with the missus. We were there for almost 3 weeks. It was just the two of us. We had a super fun time, visited a few different cities, went to a bunch of different things. Fun time, great country to go visit, highly recommend it. But anyway, while we were in Kyoto, visiting that city, there's a monkey park on the northern end of the city. And so it's this big kind of national park thing, and there's this specific area in it where you pay a few bucks to get into the specific spot, but it's this kind of like preserve where there's a bunch of the native Japanese type of monkey. They're like the hot spring monkey with the brown fur and the red face. There's this area where there's, I think, over 100 of them live in that area, and you pay and you can get in and you can see them, and it's kind of this just like open just nature preserve thing where you're walking around on a path and there's just the monkeys hanging out, and eventually you work your way to the top. There's kind of an observatory area where you get a real nice view of the city. You can just look out over the woods and see all the huge city that Kyoto is spread out before you. And there's kind of like a shed there where some of the like staff for the area, they're in there, and there's a feeding thing there where there's a section where the wall is all made of, there's a big kind of like fence grate wall that the monkeys are able to climb on, and you go in there, you can just pay a buck to get a little bag of like snack food, and you can feed the food to the monkeys through the fence. And it's super fun because they'll just climb on the fence and they'll pick the food out of your hand, and if you hold the food a little bit away from them, they'll start stretching again, and then you give them the food, and it's fun. And there's little baby monkeys that are way smaller and cuter, and they want to get food too, and then they eat it way slower. Super fun, cute place. Highly recommend going there. But we had an interesting moment early on after we had gotten into the park. We had just kind of started walking in and we're working our way up to the main top observation area. We saw our first monkey, and he was just kind of sitting on the path. You know, it's just this kind of regular forest path, and I'll throw up a picture when I go to edit this because we were snapping pics at the time. So I have a picture of this monkey, and he was just kind of sitting out on the path, and it was me, the missus, there were a few other people that had just coming right behind us at the same time that were all making our way up. We all kind of stopped because it's like, it's a monkey, kind of wild monkey. He lives in this park, but it's an animal, it's a monkey. He's kind of big. Maybe he's not as big as me, but he looks kind of big. It looks like he maybe weighs 100 pounds or something. And it's a monkey. I don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. And he's on the path. I don't wanna walk right next to this random fucking monkey. Cause what if he attacks me or something? I'm not saying he is, but like, what if he did attack me? That would be bad. So we're just kind of stopped there for a minute, take some pictures. He's not being aggro or anything, but it's like, shit, there's just this fucking animal here and I don't know what to do. I'm unsure about how to safely proceed. After a minute or two, he moved along. He probably didn't like the noise of there being a group of people starting to gather on the path. And we worked our way up, and we got close to plenty of monkeys while we were up there, and there were a lot of people around, and there were some monkeys walking back and forth. So I did get some photos where monkeys did just kind of walk right past me and walk right past a bunch of other people as they were going about their business. And like I said, when we were doing the feeding, you know, you could kind of you were putting your food right in the monkey's hand. It was a real just straight exchange right there. So that was fun time with the monkeys. But we saw that earlier moment of fear where it was like, oh, there's a monkey there. I don't know how close I want to get to this wild fucking animal I've never encountered before. So Japan's a fun time, and just sometime later, after the trip has ended, a few months later, me and the missus are talking. We're looking through the pictures, maybe. We're looking through the pictures. I mentioned that kind of interesting moment we had where we were all scared of the first monkey we saw because we didn't know what he was going to do, and we didn't really feel safe passing by him when it's just this monkey sitting there. What the fuck? And then the missus, she mentioned that a lot of times she feels that way when she's outside if there's like a strange man around, just a man she doesn't know, or especially if it's a bit of context. It's like if there's some guy who just seems like he's like just hanging out on the sidewalk, or if he looks kind of real dirty and sketchy, she gets that same exact level of feeling and fear where it's just there's a thing here that could hurt me, that has the physical capability to hurt me, and I don't really have a good read on what this thing's attitude or behavior or reaction is going to be. So do I walk by and continue on my day? How ready do I get for some shit to start? Is some shit gonna start? Am I overthinking this? Or am I absolutely rightly thinking this, and this is some shitty fucking person that might cause me a problem? How safe am I right now? Are there other people around? She has to deal with this shit a lot of the time when she goes outside, just because we live in a city and there's a lot of people around. But just this is a thing that happens a lot for her, and it doesn't happen that much for me because I'm a guy and I'm bigger, and no one ever fucking tells me how hot I look and that they want to fuck me right now, right? No one's ever doing that shit, and just I just feel safer. Ooh, guys who are smaller than me, don't throw me off because I'll fuck you up if you be a shitty person, right? So I'm not as worried about it. But but she is, and she has to be. She has to be worried about it because there are shitty people out there. And it makes me wonder sometimes where I feel like people don't always quite wholly think this one through, where sometimes people get annoyed if, say, just the random encounters or experiences that people share where you're trying to like flirt with a lady or something. She seems like real standoffish, or she seems like just real put off, or just she's really concerned and doesn't trust you. And it's like, okay, yeah, that could feel shitty if you're just a nice, normal person going about something. But then it's like, yeah, hey, maybe only 1 out of every 100 men is some fucking rapist guy. But like, how do you want to roll those fucking dice, right? How many chances do you want to take? As another example, it's like if you're in a neighborhood where there's a lot of wild dogs, and that there are just kind of wild, feral, untrained dogs that just run around and don't have an owner and are totally unpredictable, you might have the reaction of you see a dog, you got a bat or something that you carry with you. It's like, if that fucking dog comes over here, I'm going to hit that fucking dog because I don't want to get bit, because there are dogs in this neighborhood that roam around and they fucking bite people. 2 weeks ago, some kid got bit on the hand bad by a dog. It's like, oh, there's wild fucking dogs roaming around here, right? Maybe you live in a nice suburb and you don't have that experience. You see a dog running around, you think, oh, someone's dog, get out. I've had that happen. I saw a dog running around my neighborhood once, went up, grabbed the dog, found their collar, walked them to my house, called the number on the collar, their owner came and got them. It was a whole nice, cool thing, right? But if you're from a neighborhood where there are wild, unpredictable dogs, you don't want to go up and just start grabbing at some random dog. Hey boy, where are you supposed to be? You get a little defensive about it. So then, if you're a lady, it's the same thing. Because it doesn't matter where the fuck you live. It doesn't matter where the fuck you are. There are some dangerous fucking people out there. Some of them are guys. some of them are guys who target women. So like I said, how do you want to roll those dice, right? Do you want to be the person who gets taken advantage of because you fucked up the miscalculation? And, you know, just another way I think that's good to think about it, because, again, it's one of those things where I have to deal with that. Like, a lot of this stuff, when I learn about it, just reading about and just, you know, seeing videos and conversations and interviews where women describe, you know, even just in the USA, even in a country that's developed and built up and has a formalized mandatory education for every citizen, that, you know, even in a country like this, you can find countless stories of women just being fucking terrified of shit. And it makes sense that they're terrified. It's weird, scary fucking shit that happens. Because it's like, yeah, it's only every so often that some woman actually gets like assaulted, but it's like, how many near misses were there, right? How many women have near misses? How many women have stories of, it was looking like a weird situation, so I changed my path and started walking faster, and then nothing happened. And it's like, that's great, but it's like, let's think about these stats. You know, how much of these stats on crime are influenced by people being vigilant and people doing the things and being preemptive to try to protect themselves and minimize their chances? You know, I always think it's you know, there's the stat about how it's like sharks. Sharks don't kill that many people, right? In any given year, like less than 20 people, usually it's barely over 10 people actually get killed by sharks. And that's interesting to think about, because we got a lot of movies and media that hype up how the fucking sharks are gonna fucking kill everyone at the beach and eat all the teenagers. But there's something you gotta keep in mind there, which is just, when was the last time you were somewhere that a fucking shark would be? I haven't been in the ocean in years. I live in a coastal town and I haven't been in the fucking ocean once since I moved here. I am never where a shark is gonna attack me. I have a 0% chance of getting attacked by a shark. Now, I'm willing to bet if you look up the stats on all the various people over the years who have been killed, and then let's not just, you know, count kills, let's also count people who have been bit and injured, dismembered, disfigured by sharks, there might be some trends of fishers and surfers and kayakers and just people fucking around on boats and scuba divers. So, you know, you can't just go from the stat of like, oh, well, only 10 people get killed by sharks in a year, so I'm pretty safe, when it's like, well, wait, are you near a shark? Like, are you near a shark right now? Because if you're near a bunch of sharks, I think your chance of getting bit by a shark just went way the fuck up. Same thing if you're a woman. You're a woman, big thing that raises your chance of getting groped by some random guy is if there's some random fucking guy there that you don't know and trust. So, this is getting long, so I'm going to try to just hit off on this one last point. I think I heard this quote from Sam Harris, but I had trouble finding it, but it's a quote I like, so I'll expand and expound upon it. Don't know which word's better there, so we got both, but it's, you know, try to, and again, this especially, it applies if you're a guy, and it's just, you do the fucking mental exercise and take 10 seconds here. Try to imagine things, try to imagine self-defense, try to imagine how you exist and move around and navigate society from a woman's perspective. Just try to imagine it. And if you're not sure where to start with it, here's something to imagine. Imagine that the person you're worried about, who could be dangerous and give you a problem, imagine that 90% of the time, they're at least 6 inches taller than you, and they're at least 50 pounds heavier than you. Right? Imagine it from the lady's perspective. You're maybe a bit smaller and weaker, and you know, hey, even if it's two evenly physicaled out people, getting in a fight still sucks. Getting in a fight can still hurt. You can win a fight and still be real badly fucking injured. It's not a boon or a benefit to you in any way to get attacked by a stranger or a mugger and win the fight. Like, it still fucking sucks and you still have a bunch of shit to deal with and you might still be horribly injured in some way. But, you know, just imagine yourself, no matter who you are, take any scenario, make it so the person who's giving you a problem is 6 inches taller and 50 pounds heavier. probably doesn't make you feel any better, right? Easy one for the guys here. If you've seen Game of Thrones, imagine you were walking down the street, and imagine if, the Cleganes, Sandor and Gregor, the Mountain and the Hound, imagine they're hanging out outside the bar, and because I'm kind of speaking to the guys here, let's make them gay for this one. Ignore any political ramifications of gay, predatory, straight shit. We're making them a sexual threat to you. You're a man. So what's a man gonna do? Well, these are gay guys. So they could hypothetically fuck you now. Whatever. But just, the guy who plays the Mountain, he's what? 6'10"? Guy who plays the Hound, he's what, like 6'6", 6'7"? I'm 6'2". Both these guys are fucking way bigger than I am. And the guy who plays the Mountain is like 400 fucking pounds, right? Dude's 100 pounds heavier than like Shaquille O'Neal is for the most part, right? Big fucking dude. So imagine if you're walking and that's the guy, right? That's the person who's like, show me some of that ass. Like, fuck, I don't want to deal with that. Do I run right now? Should I have already been running? Should I have crossed the street and, oh shit, is this my fault now? It's like, no, it's his fault. He's the one being shitty, but it's like, fuck, I don't want to have to fucking deal with that. Right? It's like if I'm in the neighborhood with the bad dogs and there's wild dogs running around, right? Getting bit by any wild feral dog is shitty, but like, damn, I hope it's not a fucking mastiff, right? I hope it's not a mastiff trying to tear a chunk out of my leg, because that's never gonna end well. So just keep these things in mind, right? I'm not gonna wrap this up into a lesson on what you should do with it. This is just information. I've presented it. I've done things with it. I've used it to try to buff out my thinking and come to better conclusions and solutions on things. Maybe you can do that too, but I'm not going to tell you what you have to take from it. It's just shit to think about. Here are more tools. Imagine how it would feel. Take 10 seconds to show some empathy and put yourself in the shoes of the 4'10" Chinese woman who's carrying her groceries home, right? Maybe she feels a bit put off when some strange man starts leering over her, right? Maybe that's a bit of an awkward situation when someone who's so much bigger than you is getting in your personal space and acting threatening, right? Can we all imagine that we wouldn't want that to happen to us, and that therefore maybe other people don't like it when it happens to them?